Candy Crush, girl. Where have you been? Do you know what time it is?
Candy Crush.
You know. Where were you?
Out. Who had that meeting?
With who?
Linda.
Linda. And who?
And Linda. Nobody.
That's a real late dinner. You've been hanging out with Linda a lot lately.
I mean, we always do that. We do that.
Yeah, I guess. But, I mean, I heard... Never mind, let me mind my business.
Mind your business about what? What are you talking about?
I'm not trying to start no rumors or nothing. I'm just
That's what
saying.
everybody says before they start.
I heard that Linda prefers women, you know? So I'm just saying, be careful with that, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, she might. That's a possibility.
But I'm just saying, you know, being out 1, 2 in the morning with her, she might get the wrong idea. You know, I'm just looking out for you, so just be careful.
Well, guys ain't acting right, so.
We've been friends for a while. We've been roommates for 2 years, you know. Is there something you want to tell me? Something you want to discuss?
Nah, I mean, we discussing this right now, but other than that, I don't have nothing to tell you. No.
I mean, when you're with Linda, like, where's God in that? Like, how do you feel in your spirit when you're with her?
Well, honestly, I'm not even really thinking about my spirit necessarily. Not, no. I mean, life is for the living, right? And living is good, and God is good, so.
Well, you know, I'm real tired and I just ran out of lives. So. We'll talk later.
Running out of life. Okay, I mean, good night.
Scene 2.
Chris, it's getting a little late. Like, we studying. I can't study no more. I'm done. I think it's about. Dang, it's mad late. When time the next bus come? You know what though? Low key, like, I hear it's gonna be a snowstorm.
Don't do it.
It's so for real outside. I gotta make a bus.
I mean, my roommate, he gone for the weekend. Why you acting like that? Relax. We've been here studying for 2 hours. Chill. Like, ain't nothing happened. Like, we good. You can sleep head to foot, foot to head, whatever. I'll sleep on the floor. What? Just stay tonight. Like, you're good. You know what? You don't forget it. Go ahead. It's snowy outside. It was such a long time ago. What are you saying? We good. Like, all right, go ahead, leave that. It's cool.
I have faith in you, man. We was rooting for you. Right.
You know what? I'm about to jump in the shower.
Scene 3.
Hey, bro.
Hey, what's good, bro?
What's up, man?
I'm about to start some studying, dog. I'm tired, man.
Studying? What you studying for?
Dog, I got a presentation for tomorrow.
Presentation? Every week you got a presentation, man.
Yes, dude, I do, bro. Like, what's up?
You get my text message?
Bro, I got the text, but y'all can't have me one night, man. I gotta
Come
study.
on, bro.
No, dude. Last time, dog, you said an hour. I knocked on the door. I waited 2 hours for my room, bro.
It wasn't 2 hours,
Remember,
man.
bro,
It was
I'm
like
not
hour
doing
45
that.
minutes. It wasn't that
How you doing? What you doing?
I'm about to study, like,
Really? You gonna study? Where you about to go to study?
like, I'm gonna study here.
Yeah, but
Why
It's
here?
late, like.
I mean, Rutgers got a library though, right? What time Rutgers library? They got 5.
She said they
got 5. It's like 10:30.
Like,
You need anything? I can use some coffee. I got a gift card. No, I got 20. Babe, I got a rich uncle. Almost.
bro, I'm trying to stay here and study, like.
I mean, you study better in the library, dude. Come
Yeah,
on,
it's
the
quiet.
library. It's
There's nobody
Ain't
there.
gonna be quiet.
Nobody.
Ain't gonna be quiet in here.
Well, I'm gonna go get in the shower.
Get in the shower.
Don't forget. You need one of these? I like them too.
Bro, no. What is this? Dude, and I found one of your condoms too, dude. You gotta chill. I'm coming here, dude. It's been like,
That wasn't
Hey.
even mine, bro.
bro, I'm not trying to do that. The smells. I'm serious. No, bro, you're not doing it this time. I'm serious. No jokes. I'm not serious.
Come on,
Dude, not tonight.
Just one night, man.
No,
I'm
dude,
telling you,
no,
just-
it's over,
just
bro.
Do me this one favor. Do me this one favor, man. I promise you, I won't do this again.
Right.
Oh, so you're not gonna give me the room? What? It's because you down with Jesus? You down for that Christ?
It's always gonna be that, dog. No, I want my room. Y'all not staying here tonight. Y'all not doing it. I'm sorry, dog. Like, what
All
up?
right, fine. You can have the room. You can have the room. I don't even like
Well,
this
get your
room.
girlfriend. She in the shower, fool.
Come on, Cleo.
He sure did.
Oh, that was great.
Encore.
So, relationships. That's why we're here tonight. And if we're honest with ourselves, relationships can be a little complicated, right? Right? You got the friendship relationship. You have the opposite sex relationship. You also have your family's relationship. So tonight's a special night. Where obviously you guys, anyone who's new to A-Life for this semester, our theme for this semester is Kill Fear. Kill Fear. And when I think about relationships specifically, in terms of killing fear, the fear of being alone has caused many of us to settle towards unhealthy relationships. Or some of us, the hurt from previous relationships has caused you to fear opening your heart again. Or some of you guys may have been praying to God, believing He will bring the right one, only to fear in your quiet time that He is not listening. So regardless of where you stand on these 3 points, our goal tonight is to kill fear.
Yeah.
to kill fear and build healthy relationships. So we have a great panel that's going to come up tonight and share with you. So just so you guys get to know the panel, our first panelist is Othel Miller. As you guys can see, Othel is a Rutgers University graduate at Mason Grove School of the Arts, age 40. His favorite color is red, favorite sport is basketball, and he likes to ride motorcycles as a hobby. All right, Othel, come on there. Where's Othel? All right, our next panelist is Angel Peters. So Angel, she is ALFWC youth pastor, part-time realtor. She's 29.5. Her favorite color is purple and blue, and favorite sport is basketball.
Yeah.
All right. So our next person is none other than Miss Danielle. Take the camera on her face. So Danielle loses in spades every time against me.
Oh, really?
But she is a phenomenal worship leader, right? You gotta throw a dig, but you gotta throw another bone, right? You can't just all negative. She's age 24. Favorite color is red. Favorite sport. She don't got a favorite sport. No. And but she can play the guitar.
Yeah.
You can play.
You good, babe.
All right. Our next one is none other than Miss Mary. She's a physical therapist. She loves to dance salsa and eat it too. Age 31. Her favorite color is red. And favorite sport is basketball. And is... All right, our next one is Yo Dude. So Yo D works at Johnson & Johnson. She's also the lead minister for Within Ministry. Age 28, favorite color is yellow, favorite sport is basketball, and she can really hoop, y'all. Like, I put her against any other woman in here right now. Jared, too. Ooh. Calm down, Jared. Our next guest is none other than Mr. Nate White. It was so hard to find a picture of Nate because he's always taking a picture. He's 25. I don't know why I put 23 on there. He's taking. Favorite color is red. Favorite sport is billiards, even though he can't beat me. And also loses to Sean in spades every time. But pray for our friendship. I don't want to lose him as a friend. He's a great friend. And next up is none other than Ron Peters. He's a University of Pitt grad. We won't hold it to him. But he's been married to Pastor Angel for 25 years. His age is wisdom, player. Wisdom. Straight wisdom. Favorite color is black, and favorite sport is basketball. All right? And then last but not least is the guy who does it all. He's an actor, a massage therapist, Mal Davis. Perfect. So Mal's the godfather to Miguel. He reps Detroit, but he's really from Kentucky. He's really from Kentucky, y'all. Don't let this guy fool you. You're like, Detroit in the building? Nah, he's from Kentucky. Age 31, favorite color is orange, and favorite sport is track and field and football. So give it up to our panelists. Perfect. So we're gonna just kind of
sing.
No. Not tonight. So we're going to jump right into it. We're here to talk about relationships, and we have a great panel of people with great experience in terms of relationship. So the first question I just want to kind of toss out there, and I'll start with Yo D. Can you just share with us what a healthy relationship looks like from the friendship standpoint? What should it look like?
Friendship as far as just with anyone. So, take some notes. As far as a healthy relationship with, whether it be a girlfriend or a boyfriend or your parents, I have found for me that communication is very key. I know they say that when it comes to like the opposite sex relationship, but I think when you're able to communicate what you feel and how you feel at any given moment, I believe that's a healthy relationship. If there's fear to communicate what you feel, then that to me is a red flag. So.
Good. Anyone on this side of the panel want to kind of touch that question in terms of healthy relationship? What does that look like?
Well, in terms of a friendship, what makes a friend is common vision. Often, people who desperately want friends don't make friends. Because the best way to be a friend is to be one. And so when you think about friendship, it's almost like it's coming to the point where you're excited and passionate about something and you find out that the other person is as well. What, you too? And then the friendship revolves around a common vision, a common interest, that this person sees something and appreciates something that you also appreciate. The Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? So if there is a lack of harmony, if you are going in one direction and someone else is going in the opposite direction, it's not going to make for a healthy friendship. And you know, in our early life, it's largely formed by our family. But then as you age, you're primarily formed by your friendships. We're formed by community. So the people who are around you are reflecting who you are. So we have to be wise in who we bring into our intimate space.
I think a healthy friendship too, like the skit. In a healthy friendship, you should be able to ask your friend questions, to challenge them. It shouldn't be that you're afraid of them. So while we're friends and we have common things, that, you know, but I should be able to tell you that, oh, that shirt's too tight. You know that's too tight for you to go outside or something, you know what I mean? You know, or I can see your underwear, something like that. But it should be healthy where your friend accepts it because you have their best interest at heart.
So a lot of us out here have been in, obviously, relationships, friendship relationships. And for whatever reason, it's kind of fallen on hard times. So can you guys just share like one factor or principle that you typically see that people forget when entering into a relationship?
Oh, I'm really big on, like he said, being a friend. Be the friend first. We want to give, you know, we want to receive, we want to receive. Be the friend, give. Giving starts the cycle of receiving. So be a friend. Be the friend that you want someone to be to you.
I'll just jump in. My biggest thing is character and values. I heard something on Steve Harvey today that was pretty interesting that I pretty much learned as a kid, and that is everybody with you can't always go through life with you. And so there are a lot of people that I grew up with, friends with in the projects that I no longer associated once I decided to go to school because the values and our character were very different. And it was very hard to understand that as a young person coming up because it was fun to play with them. It was fun to do things with them. But they saw something, my parents saw something in me that they didn't see in them. And I had to learn to separate that out, and that's how I identify my friends today, through character and the values that we share or don't share.
One thing about a friendship, the presence of conflict doesn't mean that the friendship is a bad friendship. We have to understand that when it says iron sharpens iron, friction is going to be involved. And so often, even in churches, when people have something that they're disgruntled about, instead of confronting the situation, they run, looking for greener pastures. And you're always going to be on the run if you run away from conflict. Conflict allows you to go to a deeper bond if you resolve the conflict, which takes you to a deeper place in friendship. And so often we are on the surface in most of our relationships. We never get beyond that and travel with people through different things and come to a deeper place of understanding people. I mean, we all have some things we have to work out. So don't run away from conflict.
But you have to know the difference in associates and friends. You know, some people, they're just there. They're your associate. You like them, they nice, but they're not your friend.
Yeah.
So how do we go from the associate level, the friendship level, to really understanding how do we go to the next step? Let's say I have a friend that we're close, but then I'm starting to see them in a different light. How does that transition look? Can you guys give any advice and touch on that?
What kind of like attracted to them?
Attractive, correct. So you go from a friend, a lot of us have friends, you know, build relationships, a lot of people that you potentially want to marry start as a friend. So how do you go from a friend to transition into being in a relationship? Is it wise to do that? What are some boundaries? What are some things?
But when you start to ask questions like, what's one of the nicest things that someone's ever done for you? Those are thought-provoking questions. You find out a little bit about character there. Who or what do you love most about what you're doing? And what is it that you do? And it's got to get past the job. It's got to be about what people are really about. And one of the third questions is, how do you show yourself that you love yourself? That's the hardest thing I find, is for people to look in the mirror and tell themselves that they love themselves. They'll tell themselves that I look nice, don't I? I'm fine, ain't I? My butt is big, ain't it? They'll say things like that, but they will never say, I love you. I really, really love you, and feel that from a place of honest, God-like love. So those will be a couple of things, and I'll send that over to you. It'd be good to get out to some of you folks.
Sean? So I definitely agree with Brother Ron, but I also think we have to use wisdom. You know, the Bible says in 2 Corinthians, do not be unevenly yoked. Right? So being yoked is a little bit more intimate. And so that's even with my friend, you know what I mean? I think at 31, for me, and where I met Brother Ron, it's not going to be wise for Maul to be gathering data from a young lady who's promiscuous in that way, because that's also going to lead me down another path. Like, there's some prerequisites that I'm looking for. You know
But just because she's an unbeliever, does that mean she's promiscuous?
No, but what I said, it's just, I'm saying if she is promiscuous, you know what I mean? But let me just be clear. Let me be clear. It's a different time from when my parents found each other. But just for people who are out there, who may even be here, and one person's saved, one person's not, you can't grow. You can't be trying to grow your individual spiritual walk and be tainted or confused or slowed down because Shakita, who you've been with for a minute, who, you know, I've been there, you know, had an abortion with this girl, tried to make it work. It was just too convoluted. You know what I mean? It caused confusion, and sometimes you have to rail against the things that are familiar with, you know, to you. So hold on even to that scripture, like, do not be unevenly yoked. And what does yoke mean? You know, that's pretty deep, that's pretty intimate. So I love the words that you guys said, it's boundaries, you know what I mean? And that's even with your friends, like, even as a brother, like, I'm not gonna be going and hanging out, they're drinking and smoking. It doesn't mean they're not my friends, I just don't put myself in those situations, you know?
Right, so kind of piggybacking off of that, you're in a relationship, you're dating, you're courting, how much intimacy can you have?
Can I just go back 1 second?
Sure.
So the advice I give young ladies is, and I guess this applies to men, I just haven't given it to young ladies first. When you meet someone and you are attracted to them, pray and fast. First thing. Before you go on a date, once you started, pray, God, show me anything and everything about them that's not pleasing to you. So, I think you should date believers. But just because they're a believer doesn't mean they don't have junk with them.
Amen.
So, you fast, you pray. I told a young lady that. She was so excited to go on a date. I'm like, okay, so now fast and pray. So a couple weeks later, I'm like, how's it going? She goes, well, you had me fasting and praying, and the guy showed me all this stuff. He was like, well, that's what you want. Before it gets into your heart's involved in it, you know, it's just right, you know, he's cute, I'm cute. Let's make this work. No, you know, you ask God to show you, is this person honest? Does this person have integrity? Lord, show me. Because he may show you some crazy family members too. You know, be ready. I think someone said be ready for the no. But seek God first. Seek God first. Now we do it wrong. God, I like him. Please bless this. No. Yeah. But my husband said like we do food. But if you started off fasting, praying, and you can, you know, well, I'm not too good at, well, turn down one meal. God, show me this person. Reveal to me what could happen, what should happen.
Now, an interesting thing in terms of praying, sometimes God may not give you definite, this is what's wrong with the person. He may just give you a strong check in your spirit, because God covers as well. So he may not just outright expose the person, but you have a lack of peace in your spirit about continuing on with that person, and you follow that lack of peace. Because sometimes we want to know exactly what it is, and God may not reveal that to you. That's where your faith comes in. That's where trust comes in. Now, in regards to dating and courting, sometimes they can be mere semantics. It's just words. What you have to be very clear on is intention. So what is my intention? And then that's clear. And we have to also understand that the best part of any relationship is conversation. So the relationship is going to be sustained by conversation. And as far as intimacy is concerned, you never want your intimacy to go beyond the level of commitment. So why would the intimacy exceed the level of commitment? Now, in terms of physical intimacy, that should mirror the level of your spiritual and your emotional oneness. And then that is basically a reflection of where you are intimate in those other areas. We go for the physical at the exclusion of the others. But the physical should come as we're rejoicing that we are tight in these other areas. See, God has an amazing wisdom, and we tend to think that God doesn't know what he's doing, and that we are somehow informing God. Well, God, if you would change your way of seeing this, because this is the way you should be seeing it. God is infinite. We're finite. And if we start to see that God is not against us, rules that he sets, parameters that he sets, is not to infringe upon us, but to protect us. You know, when you look at a parent would be a poor parent if they just let their child roam out into the street. And the child is saying, well, why are you protecting me from the traffic? Because I love you. And that's why God is protecting you from getting blindsided by stuff he already knows. So just trust him. Trust his wisdom.
So I've been trusting, I've been praying, I've been fasting. But how do I keep from letting loneliness weigh my heart down when I'm single?
Well, I think a lot of what we're talking about are boundaries, but I like to refer to them as consequences because it helps people deal with the reality of the situation. The decisions you make today have consequences later on. Consequences are good, they can be bad. So when I was 25, I decided to get married. I got married, that was a decision that I made. Unfortunately, the consequence of that decision, because of the way I approached it, led to divorce. And what I found at that point was that I thought so much about that day that I didn't think about the consequences and the decisions that I was making, how that would apply to my life later on. So I think that's one of the reasons why we see a lot of young people having children before marriage. You know, that type of order that's all out of order. Because we make decisions today, we worry about consequences later on. Boundaries kind of helps you to keep them in line. Because if I know, if I'm going to go out here and cheat on my wife, that being as old as I am, I know what the consequences are. So that's going to change the decision I make, regardless as to who I hang with. I could be with guys that like to go to the clubs. I could hang with friends that have other people on the side. But I know if I make this decision, what those consequences are going to be. Some people don't take time to really think about that. So that's one of the things I would encourage you to do.
Okay, so lonely. How do you combat that? Some people can't watch television shows about a love relationship. If that's gonna make you lonely, cut that out. Watch cartoons. You know what I mean? Everybody has to know their triggers. But when you have good friendships, when you are applying yourself to your studies, applying yourself to your hobbies, to your business, things like that, that keeps you from being lonely. And if people are reaching out to try to be your friend, accept their friendships. Friendships, just platonic friendships, and join a group, join a club, you know what I mean, it's a photography club, whatever, to combat the loneliness, because the repercussions are that you could get beat in the head, you could get, you know, the different things that can happen in relationships. But when you fasted and you prayed and God doesn't seem to answer and you feel lonely, then stop listening to the love music. You know, because then I ain't got nobody, you know. Stop watching those love stories. There are just different things you can do to help your mental.
Someone else want to touch on that?
Well, I'll just add, I think in this age, and I feel like we idolize relationships, we idolize marriage. We hold it to such an esteem of, even though we want God a part of it, there's a part of us that, God, if I have this, then I will just be content, I will be full. And I'm single, and I've gone through my seasons of desiring, you know, I desire marriage, and I believe and trust that God in His right timing will bring that. But I've also seen, because I was once in a relationship, and I, you know, because I saw all my other friends get married, I was like, what? You know, I'm over here like, you can ask me to marry you now, you know. But because God is such a loving and jealous God, like, He protected me. Not because the person was bad, but He moved me because there was so much that God was doing in me. Like, there was so much that I learned about Yodit, about what all that God has put in her, and my intimacy with the Lord grew. And so oftentimes it's a season where we focus on ourselves. As long as you're focusing on yourself, you'll always feel lonely. Honestly. But if your eyes are gazed upon God and God, fill me. Let me know what contentment is in you. I promise you. And because the desire of marriage or the desire of companionship and relationship is not evil within itself. But when it's exalted above who God is in our lives, then that's when it causes us to settle. That's when it causes us to make mistakes that have consequences. And so in this season, if you find yourself feeling lonely, yes, those things of, you know, being in relationship, being in community helps, but also ask God internally, because if it's not internally worked within you, then it's going to somehow manifest itself. And even how you become needy in a relationship. Not even with opposite sex, but just friendships, because you're desiring to feel something that only God can fill. So
I was going to say, I've known this to ring true, that if a person is genuinely lonely in their single life, sometimes that translates in their married life because they don't have purpose. And you know, let's say the husband has purpose or the wife has purpose. One person, or they have a career and they feel they start to compare. So the moment you start to compare, you know, Sean and Mary's relationship, you know, you see the glory, but you don't know the story. And there's a story for that. You know what I mean? But even in this time, even being 31 and even in BC, before Christ, and even in Christ, I made decisions based off of me focusing on me and it being premature. But at the same time, like, you have to know what season you're in. Like, you know, like Pastor Angel said, like, be friendly. Like, you know, sometimes I think we get so, like, I'm trying to find Jesus. You can say hi to her. And ladies, just because I say you look nice, it doesn't...
Just think about that now. So this was actually to Nate. So Nate, you got married at the age of 22, correct? 22. So a lot of us probably in this room aspire to be married, and some of us are 22 right now and can't even think about being married at 22. So can you just kind of just share a little bit, hold on. Can you just share a little bit just in terms of how did you know you were ready to be married?
How did I know that I was ready to be married? So the honest answer is, it's twofold. The honest answer is that when I was younger, it was one of two things: be married at a young age or have a kid at a young age, truthfully. As I got older, I realized that aiming for a child at a young age wasn't practical. And then I got with Danielle and she wasn't about that life. So, you know, marriage was something that, for me, I made a decision. I don't know, I can't remember the exact date, but it was something that was always aspired for. My mother wanted to be married, my grandparents were there, they're married on both sides. My uncle is married, so it was something that I wanted, and it was something opposite of what was in my home because my parents weren't married. So it was a conscious decision, like I want to be married. So it's one of these things because it was the lack of what was in the household. But 22, it just kind of happened. You know, Danielle and I, when we got in our relationship, because of my background and her background, we came to the forefront. A lot of people, such as like Pastor Angel and many, grilled us. What is your intent? So we got to a point, well, listen, if it's not marriage, we need to cut this out. So we made the decision that if we get to marriage, then cool. And if not, then we just, you know, we'll part ways accordingly. But it led to marriage 3.5 years later, so.
Okay. So the last question I had the panelists share, but I think it would be good to share this after we kind of hear from anyone, if anyone, any questions out there. Go ahead.
So if you have a close friend that you like, but you know in your spirit that they're not for you, how do you handle that? The ball, because if you continue to be with someone that you're attracted to, the attraction will just get love.
Cut it off. Why? Why still be in it? Because one day you're going to feel lonely, he's going to feel lonely, and, you know, he may touch you in some spots, you're like, oh, you know. Right? And so then you're going to have, you understand what I'm saying, you know. Cut it off. Oh, no, cut it off, cut him off. But yes, that's the best thing. You know already in your spirit. You answered your own question. So why play with it? Why, you got to play the food. You know this over here don't taste good. Should I just keep trying to put it in my mouth? No. Why? It's nasty. Move it over. You know.
Go ahead, Nate.
Just to piggyback on what Pastor Angel said, if you already have that understanding in you that it's done, it's not worth it, the best thing is to just let it go as soon as possible, because the longer that situation stays around, the more toxic it becomes for you. And it's harder to get rid of that situation, and it's harder to even recover from that situation once they're finally gone. Because they hurt you, or they put a...
Hi, my name is Ochi Latri. I'm a sophomore at Rutgers. We just had the panel tonight, and I learned a lot about relationships with friends and the opposite sex and even family, so it was great. Can't wait for next week.
Hi, my name is Tony. I'm a sophomore at Rutgers. I think the panel was awesome, and I wish we had something like this every month. It was very insightful, and being a Christian is very difficult to balance relationships. But I feel like everyone on the panel was very had a lot of wisdom, which I really appreciated.
Hi, my name is Ashley Morrow. I am a graduate student of Mason Gross Dance Education. Today we talked about relationships, and I think the best thing that most people took away with is loneliness. That it doesn't matter if you're lonely. It's okay to be lonely. You got that connection with God, and it doesn't matter. As long as you pray, you get through everything. And you don't have to worry about being in a relationship. It's not about that. It's about being with yourself, so you're prepared to be. So when that person comes, you're prepared to be in that relationship with them. That's what I mean.
With the open heart, asking this question. Will you marry me and leave this world behind? I'm the relationship you've been waiting for. I'm worth the time. I'm married to the backslider, came for the loss. I'm committed to my commitment. My vows are on the cross.